Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back your lovely faces to a brand new video here on the channel. We are now coming into Jane Doe 1. She has been sworn in and she is on the stand. This was yesterday. This was day 5, but trial day 1. It's so confusing, I do apologise. This is from Tuesday of this week and this is the first witness up on the stand, Jane Doe 1. So, she's sworn in. Do you know a person named Daniel Masterson? Yes. Can you point to that person and describe what he's wearing? He's wearing a light blue suit, cream-coloured shirt. How long have you known him? 20 years. Do you recall when you first became acquainted? 97, roughly. And it does go on to show a few more things. How did you first become acquainted? Softball field. And she just turned 24. How old are you today? 48. Now it's going into the celebrity centre, which is kind of interesting now. So, how did you know her? You know, a league? My fiance was on the team. Would there be other contacts? Next time we saw him together was outside of an art show. He was with his girlfriend, Chrissy. I would see him at the Scientology Celebrity Centre, birthday parties. Let me stop you. Girlfriend Chrissy is at Jane Doe 3. Yes. So we've already got Jane Doe 3, who was the girlfriend, while Jane Doe 1 was still talking, still being amicable. Did you know her at the time? No. You both belonged to the church at that time, the late 90s? Yes. How long were you a member? My whole life. My parents were. I was born into it. You were second generation? Yes. So, since you were both members of church-related functions, you would see each other? Yes. There was an annual event at the gala, a fundraiser, a dinner, a Christmas, I would say for the Church of Scientology. That's when we would interact. You were born in it. Do you remember when you first became active? 7 years old. I had to buy my membership with money from chores. I bought the counselling. Just straight the fucking way, like, innit? Oh my god. Are you... How? Literally. I was 7 years old. I had to buy my membership with money from my chores. I bought the counselling. Really? She was 7 years old. And she was 14 years old when I signed my first CEO contract, when she signed a billion-year contract. Oh my god. As a member of the church, did you become familiar with procedures and policies? Yes, I studied many courses for many long hours. I had policies shown to me when I violated a procedure. Since you were both members, did you have a group of friends? Yes. Familiar with Gry Tollefsen? She was my best friend. No longer? No. When did you get to know her? Late 90s. Member of the church? Yes. Is there something that happened that changed that relationship? September 2002. What happened that caused that relationship to sour? Right, here we go. I was supposed to meet up with her and some others. She couldn't. She made arrangements. I ended up back at her boss's house where we were supposed to stay. Daniel Masterson's house. She was his personal assistant. When you were friends, when you still had that relationship, was she his assistant then? I believe so. Are you aware when she would go to his house? Part of a job description. Objection overruled. Were there times when you would go alone? Go along. Yes. Often? I would say often. There were times we would have to go there during the day, or we would have to drop things and go pick him up. Would there be times that you would have contact with him as well, going along with her? Yes. Now, describe your relationship with him during that time. Cordial. Objection clarified, judge says. Describe relationship. Cordial. Friendly. Other than Brie, were there other friends close to you who were close to Masterson? Late 90s, early 2000s. One of his best friends worked with one of my best friends. Who was that? Luke Watson. You mentioned he was employed by someone you know. He was at that time working for his ex-girlfriend, my friend. Who was that? Lisa Presley. Elvis's daughter, ladies and gentlemen. Other than Brie Schaefer, Luke, Lisa, who else was part of that group? Ben Shulman and Paige Dorian. Who's Ben? He's many things. He's worked for my parents. They live down the street from me. We were all Scientologists. And you mentioned Paige Dorian. She was another Scientologist, worked as Lisa's assistant full-time. Any other friends that were also friends with Masterson? Damien Perkins. Who's that? Scientologist. We went to high school together. Delphia Scientology School. It's pre-K through high school. Anyone else? The Ribisi family, Giovanni and Marissa Ribisi, also went to Delphi. So you have this core group of friends, and it seems that most or all of them are or were Scientologists. Correct. I would have to think of an exception who was an acquaintance but not a core friend. Is there a reason why most or all of your friends were Scientologists? Objection was overruled at that time. Good. Growing up in Scientology, there are policies against seeing non-Scientologists. A lot of stuff is going to come out in this trial, I can see it, regarding Scientology. It's going to be a barn burner, I'm telling you. At this point, Judge Almeida stops things to give an admonition that the policies of Scientology are not being admitted for the truth of the matter, but to help understand the state of mind of the witness. Certain policies, did they impact you with relationships with others? It was frowned upon to fraternize with the enemy and wogs. Now, with this, wogs, they tried bringing this in, the defense did, and they were like, no, we can't have this, bring in Scientology, blah, blah, blah. Objection, once again, Judge Almeida repeats the admonition. So these policies that you became aware of, that you were instructed to review, that made an impact on you. Correct, obviously they were. You mentioned the word enemy. What did you mean by that? Not one of us. Not someone who had been enlightened or engaged in Scientology. What did you mean by that? The goal of Scientology is to clear the planet. Struck, sustained. You mentioned wogs, people who were not Scientologists. You could get in trouble for spending time with non-Scientologists. Going to take a break. Judge Almeida is hot. Ooh. As we just said, this is what Tony Ortega put at the end of it. This trial is not going to be inundated by Scientology. I've admitted with the sole purpose to explain a state of mind about reporting. We're not going to have you explain every facet of her life in Scientology. Bring it in only for that purpose. Please abide by the rulings. And Mr. Cohen, you are not going to object to everything said about Scientology. Judge Almeida is having none of it. I am so happy about this. So, Judge Almeida says she does not want to read that emotion every time, and she does not want to admonish the attorneys in front of the jury. And she'll pull the jury out every time she needs to, and they will get tired of it very fast. She gets both to agree. She was not happy. Mueller was pulling in too much Scientology too fast, and Cohen's objections were too numerous. And that was a short break, and we'll have Jane Doe 1 back on the stand, which we do have right by here. So, this was after lunch, and this was after the break. So Mueller asked about the incident that interrupted her relationship with Bree Schaefer. There was supposed to be a meetup that involved Mr. Masterson, and it was at a small theatre. How did you get there? I drove. Was he there? Yeah, he was late. Did Bree show up? No. Then what happened? Now they're going on about literally went to a bar next door. What was that? She had a fight and all this kind of stuff. Another objection. She was going to join me later. I wanted to have a drink. Bree said, have a drink and I'll join you there. Who went there with you? I walked in by myself. I remember Danny because he had a drink. There were maybe 8 at the booth. You said you had a drink, a Greyhound, grapefruit and vodka. Nice. I haven't had one of them in years. How did you get in? Oh, so how did you get it? It was sitting there waiting for me. Danny ordered it. How did you know that? He handed it to me and said, here, have a drink. Up to that point, had you had any drinks? No. Did you drink it? Yes, I stepped outside. I called Bree. She was not going to be coming. Objection. Again, man, they love their objections, don't they? Then it goes on that the plan was changed. It was arranged that I could stay in his guest room. In the morning, she would swing by and get her, and I would take her to the airport and then come back and get my car. Who made that arrangement? Bree and Danny. Did you and Danny talk about this? Yes, he said you can crash in the guest room. How long did you stay? About an hour. Did you get another drink? There was another round. I began to drink the second one. It was stronger. Also a Greyhound. Sometime you left. Yeah, before 2 a.m. So you left sometime prior to closing. Where did you go then? To his car and he drove to his house. Anyone else going with you? No. How did you feel about that? Didn't have any feeling about it. Good question. I don't remember having a feeling about it. Which is very true. They were probably friends at that time. How'd you spend the night there before? Yeah. Was there conversation about it? Just that I was going to crash in the guest room. What time was it? Around 2 a.m. I was really drunk. Couldn't walk up the stairs. I broke my heel. He was pulling me up. I was really loud and laughing. He shushed me. I wanted a cigarette. When we got to the top of the stairs, I sat down right there. Close to the front door. Directly in front of it, there was a patio, circular table, 2 chairs. When you say you were really drunk, what did you recognize about yourself to conclude that? I was stumbling and laughing and everything was really funny. Yeah, okay. Sounds like she was a fun drunk. So you're out front, at some point you go inside, what happened? I'm a little blurry, I wanted water, I had a clear drink, it could have been water, could have been alcoholic. He grabbed my wrist and started pulling me upstairs. What were you saying? This is stupid and what's happening? I kept saying what's happening, he was saying I was too loud. You had a beverage, I had a clear liquid, but I don't know what it was. You grabbed my arm, come on, we go upstairs. It's blurry, the memory is blurry. It's hard, guys, this, I'm telling you, and I do apologise if my voice is getting a little bit boring. But, you know, I have a lovely Welsh accent. It had bubbles at my nose. So, they get to the top of the stairs. She's had 2 drinks by the looks of things. So you get to the top, I assume so. I don't have a distinct memory. My next memory is being in the bedroom. What happened there? We're kissing, I look at him, this is stupid, what are we doing? He started taking my clothes off, I kept laughing, I thought it was the stupidest thing. It was ridiculous. I fell asleep. I remember him moving my body, what are you doing? You know, then was on my stomach and I felt this really sharp pain. Do you recall getting on the bed? Not really, I remember being on the bed and my stomach was on the bed and I felt the pain in this area. Do you remember how you got in that position? Not really. Do you remember him being on there with you? Yes. Where was Danny in relation to you? He was standing behind me. Standing? Yes. My feet are touching the floor. My stomach is on the bed. What about your clothes? I don't remember having any on. Why'd you say that? Because I remember this happening. Do you recall how your body got into that position? I remember that after kissing and this happened. I remember he wasn't laughing back. I remember him moving me, but then I remember my feet touching the floor and I thought, what? It was dark. A very dark floor. You said you had these greyhounds before. Would you say, based on what you had that night, would you say that it was consistent? Overruled objection again. He does love his objections. I believe it was consistent with what I drank. He told me later they were doubles, and the last one was a triple. No wonder they were stronger. Remember what you were wearing? When did the kissing begin? In bed? Any kissing in the car? No, you were blasting music, conversation, more of a normal exchange. Any kissing by the door when you were having a cigarette? Nothing. Any discussion of this before you got to the house? No. Any suggestion you were going to be intimate? No. Only hint that they would be kissing was in the bedroom? Yes. Once you felt the pain, were you able to see what was happening? No, I pulled from the pain because it hurt so bad. I grabbed the sheet to pull at it to pull away. I didn't know what it was at first. You said earlier you were doing this. At this point, where was he? This. You said he was standing. Did his position change? I don't know. I pulled with one hand and reaching back with the other hand and swatting him. I don't know where he went. It was dark. Was there any of this before that? How did it start? On the bed, kissing at some point, I felt this. I said, wait, what are you doing? Asks her to describe the situation. Now, right. We're just going to skim over this, guys, okay? Because, again, it is obviously it's a traumatic experience, and obviously all these videos will be having a, it is going to be triggering for a lot of people. I do apologize for that. Trigger warnings. I should really put a trigger warning at the start of these videos, and from the next one I will be doing that. But obviously you asked the Trump situation. I was on my back, on top. No patchy hanging over the edge. No any clothes. I assumed he was this. This happening was stupid. It almost felt this. So why'd you say that? Because we were all friends. He was my friend's boss. He was like a brother, like a mean brother. Did you say anything to him while kissing started? I said it was stupid. Said it was funny. He said, why do you think it was funny? He said that. He didn't understand why I thought it was funny. I don't know how to answer that. In other words, you're on your back. Was there anything that led up to it? Any conversation? No. I was tired, wanted to go to sleep. I thought he was sort of making room to go to sleep, but then I felt my feet hit the ground and I thought, whoa. It was disorientating. It was very dark. He said you were drunk. What about him? He seemed okay. He drove and I was the out of control one. What did you think once you realized he was this? I didn't know what was happening. Felt the pain. I hadn't done that before and I couldn't believe the pain. It was such a pain. Did you say something to him? I screamed no to him really loud. Did he stop? Yes. What happened next? I fell asleep, curled into a ball, and I don't remember much. I woke up next morning. Was he in the bed next to you? No. What happened? I woke up in the morning, recognized it was his room. He wasn't there. I was this. I realized what had happened, and I went, ugh. Then I remembered what had happened. I went to the bathroom. How were you feeling in the morning? Terrible. Horrible headache. Nauseous. Hungover. You said you went to the bathroom. What happened? I was looking for a used this. Did you find one? No. What happened next? I called a friend for a ride. I had to go back to get my car. Didn't have my keys. Did you get a ride? Yes, to the car. Where did you go? To my home. Did you talk to him that day? No. Judge steps in. She wants to break for the day. She wants to do some things outside of the hearing of the jury. Mr. Cohen wanted to make a record. Now, guys, this is one of the things which is actually kind of crazy, alright? So, Cohen, we had a significant amount of litigation over the introduction of Scientology and Scientology language and policies in this case, both in the 995 motion and the 402 motions. This court has repeatedly said this case is not about Scientology correctly. In opening statement, Mr. Mueller said two things. One is the allegations and the other thing is Scientology. Going on about all of this, guys, it does, and it's kind of interesting because Olmedo goes, it's not unique to Scientology about all the things that we've currently seen and heard. And this is one of the best things about it. So, Cohen says about Jane Doe, never blamed for not, for policy for not reporting the LAPD. Judge Olmedo, someone's belief comes from somewhere. She indicated she was born into Scientology. The inference is that her beliefs come from somewhere. Her belief is based on something. He interrupted the judge. Well, don't interrupt me. Obviously, I was concerned where the people were going, and I strongly admonished the people before the break. I felt both sides were pushing the boundaries. I appreciate your concern, but I don't know how surprised you were because your last slide showed an elephant filled with Scientology terms. So you obviously prepared for this. I asked Robert to get the transcript of my October 4th ruling on Scientology, and both sides should look at it. I ruled that Scientology can come in for a number of reasons. Now, they're going on about they want to make a motion for mistrial, which is absolutely hysterical. You've already made a motion. You're both experienced lawyers. You're both very good lawyers. Please respect the court's rulings. I thought my rulings were quite clear. I went to great lengths to explain what would be admissible. Going on, but that should not be admissible going on. So what are you asking the court to do? First request, mistrial. That request is denied. Amazing. The second will be crafting a written motion for the jury so it's clear to them, and so the people won't do it again, and the jury should hear something. People want to respond? We were trying to lay foundation on the nature of the relationship with the Scientologists. That's exactly all they're doing. But it does go on to say about, obviously, that she did deny regarding the mistrial. And to be honest with you, seeing that they wanted it to be a mistrial on day one, to me, at this moment in time, that can only show that they know he's guilty. That's what it is in my eyes at this moment in time. The reasons he gave, it's about Scientology. It's not meant to be about Scientology, so we shouldn't be doing this trial. No, a lot of stuff has come out and you want to get a mistrial, and you're trying to use every single little legal backdoor that you can. But that's what we got for that one there, guys. Like I say, obviously, I will be going up now with today's day. So it's Wednesday today, but this will be coming out on Thursday. So I will see you all then. If you are new to the channel, ladies and gentlemen, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell for future updates, and I'll see each and every one of you soon.